more just for placements alone.
Yeah, I mean, right now with how we're seeing it, oh my, that is a lot of dropping early. But the question is, are they going straight down? Are they going to kind of spread out? You have islands here like Sosnovka, who, if you land there, you're going to be having a bad time on that bridge. So the people that want to go to military base right here, definitely not going to be having a great time. So I would expect the strongest teams to want to get here. But looking at the strongest teams, you also could see GG, the team I highlighted as the Gaming Gladiators, actually going away from there. But yeah, lots of players heading towards the north. This is going to be a southbound map, so a lot of these guys is kind of splitting up, looking for their kind of picks here. But remember, this is the grand finals. This is match 1 of 6, so all the damage has to be done, and swinging out strong is what you kind of want to do. Sorry, got a little bit of sneezes going on, but already we got a lot of decent people with some weapons. So no tag. Already the first team that we're going to be picking up here, as they've landed all over at Lipovka. And this is a decent spot, but they are surrounded by 2 other teams. But it actually looks like he's kind of a straggler with the rest of them.
Absolutely. Again, most of the teams are definitely going to be looking for some early kills, as those do contribute to quite a lot of points here. But for now, no tag, find themselves comfortable. Some of them have even picked up a wheel or two. 4 Angries coming out here quite quick to not only scour, I assume, going for loot, but at the same time, if they can find quick engagements and win them, that's a comfortable start.
Very comfortable start here. And yeah, right now, making yourself available around the vehicles on this map, very smart to try to get back into your team. But looking at this, Gaming Gladiators just beelining it straight for another person. And yep, they are chasing here. They are trying to just get a pick down. They have Extense and Levitate trying to now get on behind him, and there we go. They finally ran him down, and yeah, it's going to be an absolute massacre. They're trying to now find some loot. Some of these guys managing to grab a vehicle to get across the map to find these guns in the ground are not having so much success, and with the door now open, it's another open door for Gaming Gladiators to start us off strong with these 2 picks. And already you're looking at a team getting farmed here. So Gaming Gladiators, 2 kills secured on the board. Let's make it 3. And is that a squad wipe? Not quite yet. We do have another player lurking around here.
Just hiding. Of course, when you have no guns at hands and the only Gaming Gladiators are after you, what are you to do but hide? Maybe try and preserve whatever your team has. Again, get those extra points while they're still possible. Don't want to leave them off just yet. But Gaming Gladiators going in for an early chase, knowing the position of these guns, picking them up quickly, and already essentially getting a 3K, which is almost the entire team wipe, is a really, really strong start. That's what most of the teams are looking forward. Pick up the wheels, get yourself running, get yourself gunning, and again, just try and secure yourself an early start, not only on the loot, but kind of the presence you give off.
Yeah, very solid round so far, with now already another squad inside of vehicles trying to find a new rotation over. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to these 2 teams, when it comes down to these teams that are kind of matching up, you can tell Gaming Gladiators already hunting down players. You saw where they dropped early. They've made so much coverage already, and if they just keep up that kind of energy, they might be able to just lock down this map. But they're looking to just loot right now.
We can see a lot of teams here spread on this middle side and even bottom right, but top left, when it comes down to Zarki and areas such as that, have not been even touched yet, as though we can see Gaming Gladiators has spread out very nicely, the entire team, and even in the meanwhile, Myth also putting up quite a show as they found 2 in the presence, or rather just a finish on 1. As of current, again, engagements, they're quite necessary, but we are seeing Fairy Tail even just no one being there, fighting dead air, although just looking for anything they can really scour upon.
Yeah, right now, this is the slowest part of the game. It's about taking control of the map, finding these vehicles, setting yourself up for easy rotations after you've managed to find a decent amount of ammo. I mean, at the end of the day, early in this game, if you get into a firefight this start, at this level of how deep we're into this, you're not going to have enough ammo to survive it.
Absolutely. And we still have 35 seconds till phase 1 initiates. So again, teams can spread out nicely. They can find some loot and then start slowly compiling on others, maybe taking high ground, and in the meanwhile also trying to have these power positions where they can stack up some extra points. But as of current, we have seen some differences, like Gaming Gladiator spread out player by player, maybe in duos, as in the meanwhile, NoTag is going to be having a fight with Samler, and that's already one down, but coming right from behind will be a trade between the two. And well, right now it's all going downhill as Samler finishes one off, one still down. In the meanwhile, it's going to be a 3v3 technically, but that's soon lead to quite changed drastically.
Oh, decent shots here coming out from Rolf. I mean, Mini 14, a really solid gun, but I don't think it's going to find too much value, as unfortunately they managed to drop one, and I think they could just finish off Ireo here. So Samler not exactly looking too hot, but actually no, they're managing to pick him back up. Surprise, surprise, they're all staying alive, and NoTag is going to just try to keep their distance from that team. That engagement definitely cost them a lot of their early game resources, but luckily there should be more than enough on the ground still here. But 16 teams, 59 remaining, just below 60. We're already starting to see a lot of damage being dealt.
A lot of damage. Oh, popping those tires. Myth want to make sure that whoever is going to be entering here with these vehicles aren't going to be having as an easy time of getting out. Looking to also bunch up nicely. Again, teams spread out. They try to cover as much ground as possible and then nicely sandwich in necessarily attackers. As for now, I think that's going to be the situation with NoTag, who have bunched up those 2-3 that they still have remaining. And Myth are going to be right now looking to initiate it. We do see some damage being dropped right side. As of current, high ground still taken by Myth, and Justice here could be delivering some fatal shots if he does manage to find anyone. And he's right next to NoTag here.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the stat line here, he's actually Justice ranked 6th in damage with only 60. Not a lot of teams have gotten into a major firefights. I mean, I'm thinking we're seeing about 5 players here who have actually actively been fighting, and you compare that over, it's a very passive match one. A lot of these teams are trying to test the water to know who's going to be more aggressive. If they haven't done their research, it's a very solid play style, but you look on over to, you know, Rox, who's trying to find a pick of his own, just trying to lurk up. Most of GG, though, not finding too much value quite yet, but they are zoning people away. Anytime shots are fired, usually in most PUBG settings, you're going to be seeing that same team running away. But here instead, running towards the noise, these guys are all running away from it. They know they can't fight this quite yet, but the NoTag versus Myth fight, that's something that I'm going to be looking forward to, because you have players like Justice and Myth who've already managed to take out and execute one whole person from the NoTag squad, and that's where we're missing. So NoTag's down to 3 people, having to now find an opening.
And Justice here did spot out one player in the building already earlier, as in the meanwhile, there are some initiations going down between Gaming Gladiators, as one is going to be dropped down, going to have to bleed out for a bit, while Grenix is the one to deliver some of those shots. Nice cover, and yeah, Gaming Gladiators, like we said, they are looking out for blood, looking to drag people down into the deep waters. As of current, though, they are having a taste of their own medicine, and for now, they're just going to be leaving that one player behind, as Grenix will be finishing the job.
Yeah, and wow, now Gaming Gladiators kind of getting punished for how aggressive they've been playing. That guy was just trying to be like, okay, I can shoot the car, got 180'd and taken out beautifully by that. But now Gaming Gladiators learns, okay, we can't be splitting up searching for clues anymore. We have to find our opening, and that's where it's going to be a little bit more difficult. This team definitely has a lot of damage under their belt. We're already seeing extends here, 3 kills on the board. He's the kill leader. But outside, the ring is now starting to try to close in here. They need to find some more value, and without one person, it's going to be a lot harder to find it.
It definitely will. And as for now, the zone doesn't really take as much damage as it will in the later phases, so you can definitely take your time outside of it, but not for too long, as when a team spots you, they will try to keep you hostage outside of it, apply extra pressure, and taking a look at all against us. Again, they are just securing these nice tight corners inside the zone, quite close to the edge, and also trying to camp out anyone trying to make their way in from the outside so they could punish them. And again, they're looking at certain areas that don't really have a lot of coverage, so it would be quite an easy fight for them to win.
Yeah, I mean, easy fights really come down to how good their aim is, and as we do know, these teams aren't exactly, you know, able to compete at the top of the top, because this is community. So at the end of the day, we do have some that might have a gap between them. I mean, look at the team that we first watched get wiped. Look at BFD's remaining player. That's just one left on the entirety of this team. But then you have, you know, Storm ready to try to find theirs. But Storm on request, another team that I believe in our round 2 of our last final day to try to qualify here, they were ranked 2. So Storm, definitely a solid setup. But looking at everybody, this is a terrible spot for a Storm, kind of forcing all the opposite directions. Anybody who went down to Pochinki has to run incredibly far, gonna have to use those vehicles and give up their positioning. But then you have players here that are set up to receive these. So obviously we have a full migration of the vehicles, but there might be some teams set up shop to try to fight it. And wait a minute, everybody's just driving together here.
It's a whole race fuel we've got going on, and well, when teams are bunched up so close, you know you can expect some good gunfights. A down finish, Storm looking to fight it off, and as well, if they are already so deep and have been traveling for a long time, they want to entertain themselves just an extra bit, and they're playing together. Again, every single one of these vehicles, we can see groups of cars just being one next to another, although much teams prefer trying to ride away and get into the Storm as soon as possible, while Storm initiating gunfights, and again, Justice here, going to be taking a rooftop. And I'm just wondering, no tag, they're still sitting back and not necessarily trying to take any initiation to approach the zone itself.
I mean, Myth, they've already managed to get one. They're still up all of their team, and look at these shots. Might be able to ring out and find a pick, and oh my goodness, sad my life, incredibly low here. A lot of these players stuck on the roofs, but at the end of the day, they're still close enough to the ring that they don't really have to leave quite yet. But these guys very much pincered here, need to get this vehicle and get out of dodge. But unfortunately, you look over at M9TA and they're still stuck here. But Samler actually managed to execute one player here for Storm and completely shut that down. So another player has found themselves picked off early.
Samler have been popping up on the kill feed quite a lot, but as we speak of the kill feed, there's going to be without finding another one onto Sexy Shouty. And sadly, we are going to be having some gunfights here over towards the side of this mountainous area, trying to just crawl yourself up. And without Dope, they are definitely winning some of these initiations and even pushing back the side of AA, although it's just a question of how much longer are they going to be getting away with it.
Ooh. Without managing to grab a player from AAUS, and you know, more of these picks like that might be able to really set themselves up. One team that we haven't seen much of is TDM. They haven't really done too much, but with nades like this, Stormcake able to just land out one. But again, Grinix, you kind of highlighted this guy earlier, is able to just down a guy, execute him in a insane amount of time. And now, with one player gone, Stormcake wants to finish off what they started, but they're on the hunt. They're looking to find maybe just one more person here. And yep, that's going to be Blue trying to protect his teammate and actually manages to knock one down. Waits for another flank to come through, but this warehouse is coming up deadly here with Blue going up, and they definitely are not going to allow Blue to get back up, are they?
No, of course not. TDM are here to deliver the job. The final blow was given, picking up the teammate in the process. And this is where team fights really are going to be mattering. But hopefully you don't catch up on third-party action, since that tends to be quite a gravedigger for most of these teams. As of current, though, being nicely covered, no need to worry about outside presence. And just as we speak of it, there is a down, and 7 Gaming coming back for a bit of a second shot at it.
Now, Stormcake still stuck here. You do have Grinix who wants to keep up that kind of damage, but look at that beautiful hold there. Managing to get one, but did not anticipate the second to come through. Now with only one player left, it's up to Dark Hunter to do some damage, but Grinix is kind of pincering them. Hopefully we could see them manage to pick it up, but with 10 seconds on that revive counter, you really have to play your cards right. A perfect nade here, tries to do some damage, but Grinix is ready to swing on out, and the nade actually finishes off Stormcake, leaving only the one next to try to get back up. But Grinix now back to being a new kill leader here. 7 Gaming annihilates the first team to actually fall, and there goes one of the 16.
On the other hand, 2 people down for Samler, maybe even 3. Are we seeing an entire team essentially wiped and down on the floor bleeding? Typhoon having an absolute blast with them. And Samler, again, they have been aggressive. They have been similar to Gaming Gladiators, always there to try and pick up aggression. But punished quite quickly. 7 Gaming now trying to have a bit of a reset. We do see Extends here still looking and scouting to maybe catch 1 or 2 off guard.
Oh, Extends just wants to get their kill leader stat back. And you look on over, they know that a fight just happened out here. They know that 7G is not exactly having the best time after that skirmish. But if we can see more teams eliminated, it's actually going to be angry for Sens now taken out by Redline and Gaming Gladiators. They're going into this without a player. Not going to be easy to try to fight over against a team that, honestly, that kill leader Grenix, definitely a guy to follow here.
Definitely someone, but he also is a force to be reckoned with, and well, Gaming Gladiators here are looking to push on towards it. We can see a lot of teams here that are very close. They are basically seconds away from gunfights going mayhem left, right, and center, and shots coming out on long range in the meanwhile. This is what that map offers, and kills going off. No executions yet. We do see top right a lot of downs, which is going to be leaving extra pressure for teams, but the entire battlefield is right now at an Armageddon as they're all just taking shots at each other. Myth losing out on one player. Needix going to be needing his team to carry him a bit more later on, but Fairy, they've also been quite prominent all around the area.
Yeah, right now, you look at the position of Nedex kind of just out in the open there. Definitely going to get punished from this spot, but you have a lot of players still trying to fight around this ring. No tag. That's going to be grabbing another player. Sad My Life has been down quite a bit, but look at this. It's actually a 3-way fight going on with the snipes coming out from Fairy Tail to consistently drop more and more. Look at the distance we're seeing here coming out from a mini 14. Not even an M. Like, this kind of just constant fire, managing to find more and more of these picks. And Fairy Tail up here in the mountains just doing whatever they want. Nobody's really having the range to punish them.
What comes out from the windows, Inside Sadness, and of course M9TA do get it. Now we do have a lot of fights coming out yet again, and phase 4 also, so we do want to start picking up our pace and approaching the zone if we're still not inside of it. And mid-game, this is where it starts to really pop off. Teams have been reduced down to 13, 3 already eliminated, and some of them even being the stronger ones. Gaming Gladiators, as of course, presidented and being quite consistent in all these tournaments. I imagine they're going to be climbing up the ranks any second, but as of current, still fights between M9TA and No Tag.
Yeah, there's only 2 left here, 1 low, and that is a clean shot. No Tag is eliminated, and that is a big player out for the count. We've seen them have to fight quite a bit, but now it's Redline. They managed to maybe get one team taken out, but this time it's 1-4-5-3 who's being able to be aggressive and taking these players down. It's just going to be a little bit of damage to go, and what a shot coming out from Flockman. But look at this, the ring comes on in and forces these players to fight. That's going to be now just one person in Redline remaining to keep their team alive. But wait, are you going to catch up to it? Yes, with 5 HP, gets into the ring, managing to clutch it up on the rotate, but they've done their damage. They've really executed most of that previous team.
But the bare skin of his teeth just hops on into the zone. One more second, it could have been done and dusted for him. Although in the meanwhile, 1453 still gonna have to run away with it as well. And again, if any teams do end up trying to punish people for being on foot as of current, it's gonna be huge kills, huge values. We've seen graveyards be dug all around the and in the meanwhile, Redline taken out fully, last player done, and M9TA is gonna be the ones to deliver the coup de grace.
Yeah, and 1453, after that little skirmish, 2 of them got left in the ring, and that is going to be the Storm taking them out, and a big round here for Storm themselves. Storm OR managing to grab without. Fairy getting another player for 1443. This mountainous spot is just completely locking it down, and Fairy Tail is reaping the benefit, managed to eliminate a whole team from all the way across the map. I mean, this is what the snipers are going to be capable of, and on a map like this, they're doing a great job.
Fantastic job they are. Against us has been one of those teams that have been kind of lurking around all the side. We do see Janet's going to be the last one standing with only 1 kill. Necessarily not the best you want to work with, but at this time, it's all about placement. It's all about those points. As of current, there's still 10 teams remaining, so if you end up going now, there's going to be no points. Points only start getting contributed once you reach that 7th place, and well, hopefully Jan manages to make it till there.
There we go. Now, a little bit of a lock-in here. You have AAUS playing it smart. You have one person left. The main goal you have is to get into that top 5. With how many teams are remaining here, if you have one person, you might be able to do a little bit of damage. You know, getting kills, definitely not exactly a priority. But if anybody can, Jan will. With only the only kill that this team has managed to find being on this one player, they have to take it slow. They have to manage to find at least one opener, or they're going to get shut down completely. But at the end of the day, you do have the passive time. We're 20 minutes into this game. Everybody's taking a deep breath. They're counting their bullets. They're seeing how many rounds they have left. Again, looting phase is pretty much done. If they want to find some real guns, they're going to have to pick them up off the corpses of their enemies. And that's not exactly an easy fight as you look on over at a pretty solid team still up. 7G in a beautiful high ground position. I think GG is gone.
I did not spot them actually being taken out, though. We'll have to see where they landed. Possibly could have missed it. As of current, though, like you said, it's a bit of dead space, and, well, the chain of events is about to start unfolding yet again. Storm going to be the ones to kick us off, and Fairy T going to be the ones to sadly have the worst part of it, taking in most of these bullets, having to also back off, taking these trees as coverage is going to be huge, and a down here for a second. Solo does manage to find Sadel. Now it's a down, but not a finish out. Going to need to be on the execution job if we want to get those points locked in, and of course, all teams now bunched up extremely close, so we can be expecting a lot of gunfights. But in the meanwhile, there's also some teams probably taking initiative to just get as far away from all of this action as possible.
Yeah, but Fairy Tail, they have been the king of the hill for quite some time here, and they're not going to want to give that up. Currently in their position, they're looking to maybe, just maybe, finish Storm and get aggro, but Storm's going to be able to pick each other up thanks to the smoke. Fairy Tail's still going to be down bright side here permanently now. M9TA, they've managed to kill 1 or 2 teams, but it's going to be Fairy Tail's aggression that gets them a little bit too much to chew for. And now the fights are breaking out. We have more people. M9TA's here for another one down, and Without is going to fall. Another team that is now on the ground, and look at this. Fairy Tail Conf becoming the new kill leader here as nades are going to finish off some. Wait, Nosferatu, he just naded himself.
That's definitely a way of going out. Don't know if you would necessarily want those points to count towards his enemies, but it happens. Mistakes do, and Without Dope, in the meanwhile, speak of him, is going to be going off the board. Bomby getting down to the process. We do have Fairy Tail here being in quite a pinch between all these teams. They've had their fare with it, one of them being the kill leader and having an absolute spray down the hill. But as of current, right now, they're sandwiched between multiple teams as they're just having a go at them. Teams do need to retreat now, but Typhon have been just crawling around these corners, trying to maybe take a cut off the edge. And 7G, this is the high ground they've taken, as in the meanwhile, while all the action was unfolding, they've nicely climbed up the ladder, and now they have a sight upon the majority of the battlefield.
Here we go. Look at this. 7 Gaming. This high ground position, definitely something to fear as everything's kind of pushing people towards them. But unfortunately, it's not in the ring, so they're not going to be able to stay here for much longer. You know, we talked about Gaming Gladiators. They're still alive. They actually disengaged from 7G. They're not trying to fight that. They're backing their way out of this. And that could be the opener that they need to really set themselves up. But we might find another fight. Fairy Tail hunting down M9TA's last 2 players here. They have no idea that Fairy Tail is right above them. And wait, Conf wants to fight this. Oh, he flashes himself. He has to get. Go. It's just one player left. It's actually the other way around, but this guy can clutch it before 1-2. He just wipes the team on his own. That's what we're talking about for Conf. The kill leader, the most in damage, nearly 600 with 7 kills down.
Oh my, Conf! Your back must be aching. Lats must be growing as this man has been carrying Fairy Tail right now in the final moments. We can take a look, a bit of a wider search over these teams. Gaming Gladiators at the very top, Typhoon at the bottom, and about to be initiated by Myth themselves. 2v3 here, going in quite heavy. Sparta, the name quite fitting, and in the meanwhile, looking to be the real dedicated soldier to put an end to this team. Typhon are having a lot of bullets be spread, but these smokes and trees are going to be of a lot of help, as the Storm will be of a bit of support here to Tiny. He finishes the job, needs to get that extra mag in to deliver just a couple more, and Gaming Gladiators, we can see in the top right that they're going back into action against Storm.
Yeah, starting off, it's been a little quiet from them, but, you know, a lot of these players are just trying to survive here. We're at the 25-minute mark. It's time to see things move. Sparta, clean shot down on a Tiny, trying to back up their teammate. Unfortunately, Myth still only down to 2. Needs to start finding some final blows here, and that's going to be 1 here. Sparta gets another clean shot nade combo, being able to grab now 2 down here for Typhon. If Typhon can just manage to find another pick or another player to clutch it, these nades definitely going to finish their job. They actually are hitting them with it clean as ever, and yeah, they want to try to get that before it's too late, but we got a minute left here before another ring closes in. And we talked about AAUS here. That player Jan still managing to stay alive.
Still managing to stick by, and that's going to be huge. He just lives for 1 more or 2 teams, and well, that's already going to be some value of the fact that you were just running away. And honestly, credit given where it should be, because he's been nicely hiding. No one has really scouted him out just yet, because teams have been way too compromised with fighting each other and trying to go for these kills, which, honestly, Jan, you just sit on idly by, cozy, and snug as a bug in your corner, and honestly, you're going to be reaping off of those benefits.
Ooh, Fairy Tale still alive and still kicking. They might actually take out Cadel here. How is this guy still hunting for kills right now? But you look on over at Storm. Cadel now low. You need to try to back it up. You have the high ground available here from G2 or GT10, 210 KZ. What a name. Cadel looking to try to get the jump down onto the final Fairy Tale member, but there's fear in the hearts and minds from Conf.
Here indeed. We can sense
What?
that Fairy Tale actually get it down.
Another one?
Yes, they
No
do,
way,
and they
he
just don't stop. Sparta
He's on
completely
10?
taken. Spree for Conf, and there needs to be someone to shut this man down. This has been going on for so long, and Conf can just not be stopped. There's no brakes on him. And I'm imagining the final few dominating teams here are going to be Gaming Gladiators, who have the majority of this team still alive. 7G as well, rocking 2 or 3 players. And Conf, how are you going to get yourself back up there?
Yeah, but Gaming Gladiators, they actually just lost a player to the Storm, getting knocked down with no real fight happening. And that means there are 2 players left for Gaming Gladiators. You only have 1 player left for Fairy T, 1 player left for AAUS. And now we're looking at less teams than there are players alive soon. I mean, this is getting really tense with how many people are getting shut down consistently.
Conf is having a very slow bout with the hill, his greatest enemy. This hill really being the big bad wolf knocking at Conf's door. Storm on request still, though, in the meanwhile. They're having a chill. Myth and them had a very strong battle earlier. We saw it. Now, they've taken their steps, respective space, and ready to get back into the action once everything has really been nicely prepared. Storm closing in. The only one actually inside of it currently is going to be the Myth player. As Jan, we've seen him hiding out for so long, and this may be the first move he needs to step through, but Gaming Gladiators just a moment away from him.
Yeah, no, this is a difference in 2 different teams. You had Jan for AAUS, who is playing their life, and then you have Conf, who's playing to get kills and their life. Definitely one of these players is finding a lot more success when it comes to farming points for their team. But if we want to find out if these teams are going to be ready, Gaming Gladiators, they were a huge team. They are #1 in the seed for a reason. Lost a player at the very last second there, unfortunately, down to time. And now it's them and 7Gs to be the only teams with enough players surviving that actually makes this into a tough matchup. Number advantage is massive this late in the game, especially with no revive mechanics. This isn't Apex, this isn't Fortnite. You have to just fight until you die, and Gaming Gladiators is about to be pushing right on up to AAS, and they heard his footsteps. They know he's in there.
Oh yeah, they're hunting him down, and poor Jan, he's had his moments. He's definitely captured a point or 2 with his placement, but right now his time ends. He can give it as good of a fight. He does go through the smoke nicely and safely, Oh, we even saw a shotgun being pulled out. He's just chucking everything he has at them. He gets it down onto Rox here. Can he find the second? The nades are going to be helping him out, and it's all down to these fights. Sadly not, but Gaming Gladiators lose yet another one, as it's all left down to extends.
Dang. A little bit slow on the trigger there. Letting them take out your teammate like that means that you are having a lot of hero plays, but another team has fallen. Another 2 players have gone down. Conf is still in a position of not really panic. Still the kill leader, 9 kills here, and it's going to be Gamer Gladiators eliminated by 7Gs. The 2 players still up. They have advantage, but you look on over at Storm. They're starting a little bit of a skirmish here with Roxy. Might be able to find something, but nades a little bit too clean onto Ronnie, forcing him up, but there we go. And look at this. Myth is eliminated. Another one down. Top 4 available, but Conf gets another player down. And there we go. BFD gone. And it's time to keep on finding more. Storm on request. They keep it up with BFD gone. It's now 3 teams remaining. 7G in that life advantage. But the fact that Fairy Tale is still here to do some damage.
Oh, this is where a lot of teams are going to be forced into final few moments. Just these final few teams having a bout with it. Storm on request, 7G. Last few fights here. You've been holding out a lot, and there has been damage dealt to both, but these are the final few moments you get to finally show it through. Fairy Tale being one of them as well. And right now, 7 Gaming being the first ones to initiate these shots. Molly's there to try and really force the position out here on one of these Storm players, although it is the last one remaining. And Fairy Tale even being contested. Extra shots coming out. And 7G maybe losing a player as they're both fighting 2 teams at once.
Yeah, they're really splitting up and trying to find some value here, but they need to isolate one. They know there are 3 teams left and only so many players. They have to do the math now. They know that Conf is the only one here around this corner, but look at this. The shots from behind, they're opening the doors for these teams, and look at that, an angle again. It looks like we're seeing the last 2 teams play together beautifully, but hello, that's going to be Conf getting another one down, and Conf is eliminated. Unfortunately, 7 Gaming now having to face off against Storm is in a tough position, and winner chicken dinner. It's going to come through from the solo plays of Storm on request. And wow, Fairy Tale, really the MVP there, even if they got 3rd.
Wow.